How you doing again? It's Robert Sanchez. I'm here with you from our office. I want to talk to you about common law marriage. It's a pretty common question. Some days 3 or 4 times. We get emails on this all the time. What is a common law marriage? Well, basically a common law marriage is when 2 persons decide to live together. Historically, it was a man and a woman. Recent history could be 2 men and or / comma, and 2 women, if you follow me. What determines a common law marriage? Well, how about this? I'll give you a legal response. The jurisdiction sets the definitions. So it can vary from state to state, from country to country, from territory to territory, from universe to universe, okay? That's the way it works. And we had a case a long time ago where a young lady came in and she posed a question: is there rights for me in this relationship that just ended? And of course, whether it's a man or a woman, but usually when women come in and say, hey, what do I get? You know, or sometimes it's rare, but a man comes and says, hey, what do I get? She just kicked the bucket. So in this particular case, the husband had thrown her out, common law husband had thrown her out, and she wanted something. And they were worth several $1 million. And he offered her $50,000, a suitcase, and get out of town. And she came desperately seeking some advice and some help because, I mean, that's not fair. Texts keep coming in. All right, I got you. Always work. It was very interesting because they were not married. And in this jurisdiction, there is no common law marriage recognized since the 50s, basically. So you can be married 40 years or living with someone under what's called a common law for 40 years and you're not married. The question then becomes, what right do you have to property? Well, I own a home with my wife, legally recognized wife, and it's in my name and her name. So it's our property. How about that? Where I'm sitting, this building, we purchased it as a husband and wife entity. So again, the marriage purchases property. So it's our property. Something happens to one or the other, it belongs to the other person. That's what usually happens. If you were to die, their property automatically go to your spouse. If your spouse dies, it goes to you. Sometimes we help them along by murdering them. Not a good idea, okay? You probably get caught. But usually when one person checks out, it belongs to the person. That's the way it works. You know, my father passed away and the property went automatically to my mom. For my mom, we needed a will to pass it to the children. And we had a will, she had executed a will and it came to the children. That's pretty simple and very straightforward, okay? The question becomes, okay, I lived with him for 40 years and we have a bunch of kids and we have some properties and stuff, so what's mine? All right, let's look at the titles. If title to the cars were in both names and he passes away, most likely will go to you. That's pretty simple, right? If it's you and him, there's no way hang, then it's you. And if the home you lived in is in your name and his name, it passes to you. That's the way it usually goes. If the house you live in is in his name, and you fixed it, and you decorated it, and you painted it, and you made all the payments for the last 25 years, it may not go to you. It's not your house. It goes to his descendants. His descendants by blood, or the will. If there's no will, who are his legal descendants? Well, usually, descendants is decided by an upward movement. So if he has no children, he goes up to his mom and dad, no mom and dad, he comes back down, brothers and sisters, no brothers and sisters, it goes on, and finally the state takes it. But what claim do you have? Usually not much of a good claim because you're not on the title. Pretty important. You have to have rights. So am I in favor of marriage? Hey, get your name in the title at least. Get your name in the title at least. You have to get married if you don't want. I'm not going to judge anybody. Get your name in the title. Whether it's a car title, a boat title, a jet title, a land title, whatever. Get your name in the title. And if one passes away, it goes to the other. There's life estates. There's Mary Jane's. There's lots of forms. Every state has, again, their own rules. So you got to check with your local lawyer. This show's about giving you some general advice. Then you call your local lawyer and figure what's best for you. But usually what happens is that if you're not married, you don't have too many rights. Let's put it this way. My dad said, if you don't vote, don't complain. Because you didn't even vote. So in this case, if you're married, you have a lot of rights. And if you're not married, you're the neighbor. You can talk all you want, but you're still a neighbor. You're not part of the marriage. In certain states, common law is recognized. You can look it up if you go to Google if you want. You can say states that are recognized common law or don't. In some states, actually it's states by statute, there is no common law marriage. Interesting. Let me throw a case to you. So a young lady comes into the office and she says, I've been thrown out. He's worth $5 million. We lived together for 20 years. You go, well, you're not married. You got no rights. Look at the property title. It's in his name. Boat title, his name. Mercedes, his name. Yeah, you're out of luck. How about this? How about if you went away for a weekend during those 20 years? You have proof, your photo album, receipts, knickknacks, hotel bills, and you were in a state with common law marriage. I know of a case where they went away several times to this favorite state of his, and it had common law marriage. Look, South Carolina, for example, just eliminated 2019 just eliminated common law marriages. So if before that you went there and you lived together long enough under their statutes, you were married. And what does Florida say? What does all states basically say? They say that as you enter, you are. You come in wet, you're wet. You come in dry, you're dry. You come in married, you're married. They may have left single and returned married under the common law of another state. Now, in South Florida, we get lots of folks that come from Central and South America. So let's repeat that phrase. As you come in, you are. So if you come in married, you're married. I was married, I did this last time. I was married in Spain. So am I only married in Spain? No, I'm married worldwide. She'll tell you that. So if I'm married in Spain, I'm married here, buddy. Okay, that's it. I'm married. Well married, okay? So I'm married. And she has all the rights that a spouse has in a marriage. I can't go to Missouri and get married again. I'm already still married. That would be bigamy. That's another problem. Or maybe another state, or states, or countries. As you are, you are. So if you come into the state and you come from a jurisdiction that recognizes common law marriage, maybe they say one weekend. You know, there was that Bible, but that's some pretty strict rules. Maybe you come from a state that was a common law state, and you stayed one weekend, and that means you're married under their laws. But when you come back home, you know what? You're married. And she would have a right to collect under what the wife can collect, because she would be the wife under common law marriage. So you got to be very careful. You know what I say, right? You get married, you get nothing. Who the heck cares to get married? If you got a lot, get a prenuptial agreement. If not, if you're the one with a lot and she has little, or you have a lot, he has little, you better be careful where you go on vacation. That vacation may cost you several $1 million because they may come back married to you. I know a lot of guys who never, I'll tell you what. Okay, like and subscribe. They keep telling me that. Listen to this. I'll tell you a story. I know this doctor. doctor. So right away, you know he's wealthy. Okay, he's a doctor, very wealthy. Huge house, the water, all the toys. And I know him quite well. I said, hey, it occurred to me one day to ask him this question, because I know him for years, before he was a doctor. You ever get divorced? He goes, and I'm just having a conversation with him, not with anybody around, you know. Why not? Because the moment I'm divorced, yeah, she want to get married and take half my stuff. But you're already married. He says, yeah, but she doesn't care. See, people think, I mean, and legally, he continues this relationship and he passes away, because we all will pass away. There's going to be a huge storm fighting over assets. And remember one thing, a wife, right, a legal partner has rights. Children have rights. Boyfriends and girlfriends may not have rights, unless they're on titles, or they come from a common law jurisdiction, or they got something. So, for all those that are living on the edge, and it's not really decided, you know, when you're 20 and 30 is one thing. When you're 60 or 70, sometimes I tell a wife will come in here and ask, what should I do to get married? I mean, you've been living all these years with this guy, he has grown kids, you can get thrown out of that house. You better straighten this stuff up. You better straighten this stuff up. Common law marriage, not recognized in a lot of states, so you gotta be careful, because it's not that common anymore. But anyway, that's why you need a lawyer on your side to find out what's going on. Find a local lawyer, talk to them, straighten this out, and protect yourself. Till next time.